I'm telling you, I tried to warn my sister that she was about to get married to an absolute jerk. He has a whole teenage daughter that he's been hiding from her from a previous relationship. When he told my sister he's never been in a serious relationship, he's a liar, he's a cheater. And now that I'm telling them, hello, he has a daughter, I saw him with her, they don't believe me. They say that I'm jealous that she has a steady relationship while I'm going through a breakup, and I'm about to lose my mind because she's going to marry this guy, and apparently it's my fault they don't believe me. I don't even know where to start with this. I feel like I'm losing my marbles. My sister, Claire, her wedding is just a few weeks away, and somehow I've been cast as the villain in this whole situation. See, my parents, they're furious at me. Claire won't even look at me, and I can already hear the whispers from extended family about how I'm just jealous and trying to ruin her happiness. You want to know the worst part? No one's even letting me explain. This all started because I made what I thought was an innocent comment. A couple days ago, I casually mentioned that Claire's fiancé, David, had shown up at my apartment at 2 a.m. one night. That's all I said. I wasn't trying to stir up drama. I wasn't making accusations. I just mentioned it offhandedly. I barely even thought about it when I said it, and I just thought Claire and my parents knew what I was going to talk about anywho. But the second the words were out of my mouth, Claire froze. She immediately starts asking questions, demanding to know why David was at my place at that hour. Before I could even open my mouth to explain, David jumped in with some weak excuse about how he just needed to talk to me about the wedding, and didn't want to wake her up. It was such a bad explanation that even Mother raised an eyebrow. Claire, of course, was not satisfied and kept pushing for details, but David started getting defensive. He tried to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal, well, that it was just a misunderstanding, but his reaction was so off that Claire's suspicions only grew, and somehow in the middle of all this, I became the problem. Claire turned to one of me and just accused of keeping secrets from her. My mother immediately starts to grill me, asking why I would bring this up now and what my real intentions were. Man, I barely got 2 sentences out before my dad cut in, telling me to stop making trouble. The entire conversation shifted from questioning David to questioning me, like I was the one sneaking around at 2 a.m. instead of him. I tried so many times to explain. I kept saying, let me tell you what had happened, but they would not listen. Every single time I opened my mouth, somebody interrupted me. Claire was getting more upset by the second, but not at David, at me. She kept demanding to know why I was trying to ruin everything, right before her wedding, and my mother was furious, saying that I was just stirring up drama for no reason. My dad even told me I was being selfish and I need to drop it before I make things even worse. I just sat there absolutely stunned. I mean, come on, what was I supposed to do? While David sat in complete silence, he barely said anything after his first excuse, just letting everyone tear me apart. And here's the thing, he did not show up alone that night. When I opened up my door at 2 o'clock in the morning, David was standing there with a teenage girl. She was shaking. Her face was blotchy from crying and she looked terrified. I had no idea who she was, and I barely even had time to ask before David begged me to let them in. He kept saying it's an emergency, that he had nowhere else to go, that I just need to trust him and not ask questions, and I was half asleep, confused as hell. But I let them inside because what else was I supposed to do? The girl immediately curled up on my couch, hugging her knees to her chest while David paced the room, running his hands through his hair like he was about to fall to pieces. He kept muttering about how things had gotten out of control and that he needs to figure out what to do next. I kept asking him who she was, what's going on, and after dodging the question a few times, he finally admitted the truth. She was his daughter. He didn't say anything much that time, but since he and Claire were so in love and would often brag about open communication, I simply thought Claire knew about his daughter as well, and was just busy at the time. Since I was the closest one, he probably just drove to my place for an emergency. Honestly, I was shocked at the fact that he had a daughter at first, but I just shrugged it off. I mean, it makes sense if I didn't know. I'm used to being left out of a lot of things, like how my parents and Claire would go on these big vacations, and I'm only informed at the very last minute. Or when my great-uncle passed away and they only informed me the day of his burial. So it was probably one of these things, you know? I know it's cruel, but I'm used to it anyways. But seeing their reactions, that's when I stupidly realized that was, well, what was actually happening. David had been lying to Claire for years. He probably told her that he had never been married or had a kid, that she was the only woman he had ever truly loved, and that he had no past relationships worth mentioning. But in reality, he had a whole other life before Claire, one that he had completely erased. And now, here I was, being screamed at for daring to mention his visit. I wanted so badly to tell Claire the truth, but how was I supposed to do that when she would not even let me speak? Every time I tried, she gets emotional, more convinced that I was just trying to sabotage her happiness, and my mother went on and on about how I was always so negative about relationships. How I just could not stand to see Claire happy. My father was so dismissive, saying that even if David had done something wrong, it wasn't my place to interfere. And David, he just sat there, he didn't even defend me, he didn't even confess, he just let everybody rip me apart while he sat in silence. At one point, I almost just blurted out everything, but the way Claire was looking at me like she hated me, I couldn't do it. I realized that even if I did tell them the truth, they wouldn't believe it. Claire had completely convinced herself that I was jealous, that I was just trying to ruin things for her, that I was doing nothing more than making drama out of nothing. So you know what I did? I shut up. Yeah, I let them believe whatever they wanted. And now here I am, sitting in my apartment, wondering what the hell I'm supposed to do. My family won't talk to me, Claire won't return my text, my mother is still telling everyone that I ruined everything. And David, he's still engaged, still lying, still getting away with it. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I know the truth, I know what kind of man David really is, but how the hell do I make my family see it when they've already decided that I'm the villain? I mean, guys, help me out here. Update number 1 came out just a few days after OP's first post. So here it is, a few days later, update number 1. Well, it's been a few days since my last post, and I wish I had something positive to say, but honestly, I feel miserable. I've been trying to pull myself together to just focus on work and pretend that everything's fine, but it's getting harder. My family's still shunning me, treating me like I'm the one destroying Claire's wedding instead of the man who's been lying to her for years. And now, on top of all that, David is threatening me. It started the night after my last post. I was exhausted from work, just trying to wind down when I get a text from an unknown number. The first message was short, a warning, telling me to stay quiet. At first I thought it was some random spam message, but then another one came through, more aggressive this time, making it crystal clear that speaking up would lead to consequences, and that's when I realized it was David. I don't even know how he got my number, maybe through Claire, maybe my parents, or maybe he had it from before and just never used it. Either way, the messages have not stopped. They're not like constant, but every few hours, I'll just get the same thing. Some are vague warnings about how I need to stay out of things, while others feel like direct imitation. He's trying to intimidate me. He's making it clear that my involvement is not welcome and that I should stop talking and that pushing further would be a mistake, and I won't lie, I'm scared. I don't know what David's capable of. I mean, this is a man who's already lied about an entire human being. Who knows what else he's hiding? The fact that he's willing to go out of his way to threaten me, instead of just coming clean to Claire, says everything about the kind of person he is. I thought about blocking the number, but a part of me wants to keep the messages as evidence, just in case things escalate, but the more I see them, the more anxious I feel. Every time my phone buzzes, my stomach drops. I don't even want to check anymore. Meanwhile, my family still completely shut off from me. Claire has not responded to any of my messages or calls. My mother has made it very, very clear to our extended family that I'm not welcome at any wedding events. Apparently, they're still moving forward with everything as if nothing happened. As if David didn't show up at my apartment in the middle of the night with his secret daughter. The few relatives who do talk to me are only doing so to tell me that I should apologize. Apologize for what? For speaking, for existing, for mentioning something that David did? It's like they've all convinced themselves that if they just ignore me long enough, the problem will go away. I tried talking to my dad, thinking maybe he would at least hear me out. But the conversations lasted less than 2 minutes. He was cold, distant, and basically told me that Claire is, quote, under enough stress and that I need to let it go for the sake of the family. What does it even mean, let it go? Just pretend none of this ever happened? Pretend that David did not show up at my door completely unraveled in the middle of the night? Pretending that his daughter, a full teenage girl that he's been hiding from Claire, doesn't exist? No, I can't do that. I can't just sit back and watch my sister marry a man who's actively threatening me. I've been going through the motions at work, trying to keep my mind off things, but it's hard to focus. I feel like I'm carrying the massive weight on my chest, and there's no one to talk to about it. Every time I try to explain myself, I just get dismissed, ignored, or outright blamed. I feel alone. The only thing keeping me going right now is the anger. Because beneath all the fear and hurt, I'm angry. Angry at David for dragging me into this mess. Angry at my family for being so blind that they refuse to even hear me out. Angry at Claire for trusting a man she's known for a year over the sister who's been there her whole life. But who am I kidding? I've been the unwanted daughter my whole life, no matter how hard I tried to be there for them. Still, I don't know what to do. I've never felt more powerless in my life. Update number 2. It's been a week since my last update, and the wedding is even closer now. You'd think that I'd be panicking or trying to figure out one last way to get Claire to listen to me before she makes the worst mistake of her life. But the truth is, I don't think I care anymore. That realization did not come easily, and for the past week I've been a mess. The stress, the isolation, and the fear of what David might do if I pushed any further have been weighing on me like a ton of bricks. At work, I feel like I'm just going through the motion. Barely able to focus, and at home, I can't even enjoy the things that used to make me happy because my mind is always circling back to how unfair all this is. I've spent so much time asking myself the same question over and over again. Why won't they listen? Why are they so quick to throw me away? Why is it so easy for them to believe that I'm the problem when I've done nothing but tell the truth? And after thinking about it endlessly, I think I finally found my answer. It's because they never cared about me in the first place. I don't mean that in like a dramatic self-pity way. I mean it in like a cold, factual sense. If they truly cared about me, this would not have been so easy for them. They would not have shut me out without even hearing my side. They would not have automatically assumed that I was trying to hurt Claire instead of trying to protect her. And they would not have let David, a man they've only known for a few years, completely erase me from their life. And the more I think about it, the more I realize this isn't new. My whole life, I've always felt like an afterthought. Claire was always the golden child and the one who got praised, the one who got showered with love and support, and the one who could do no wrong. And I was not really mistreated, but I was neglected in a way that's hard to put into words. When I accomplished things, my parents barely acknowledged it. When I struggled, I was expected to deal with it on my own, and now, when I tell them something they don't want to hear, they throw me away without hesitation. It's like I was never part of the family to begin with, and the worst part, it still hurts. I would love to sit here and say that this realization has made everything easier, that I'm suddenly okay with all of this, but I'm not. It still hurts like hell knowing that I'm alone in this, that the people who were supposed to care about me the most were willing to turn their backs on me the second I became an inconvenience. But what hurts even more is realizing that I was willing to risk my safety for people who would not do the same for me. David has been threatening me for days now and making it very clear that if I keep pushing there will be consequences. And for what? For people who have already decided I'm the enemy? For a sister who refuses to listen to me, and for parents who never even put me first, not even once. The more I think about it, the more I realize I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them my voice, and if they refuse to hear it, I don't owe them my help if they refuse to accept it. And I definitely do not owe them my safety when they clearly do not care about mine. So I'm done. I'm done trying to convince Claire of the truth. I'm done trying to make my parents see reason. I'm done begging for people who never show me the same courtesy. It still stings. I won't pretend that I'm magically healed or that I don't care anymore. I do. But I also care about myself more than I care about a family that has made it clear I'm disposable. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Maybe one day, Claire will figure it out on her own, maybe she won't. Maybe my parents will regret how they treated me, maybe they won't. But at the end of the day, it's not my problem anymore now, is it? Update number 3. It's been a few weeks. Now the wedding is just 2 weeks away. After everything that's happened, after all the silence, the accusations, the complete disregard for my well-being, guess who suddenly wants to talk to me? My parents. You see, after weeks of treating me like I did not exist, they started blowing up my phone. Calls, texts, even emails, like we live in 2000. All saying the same thing. They want me to attend the wedding, but of course there's a condition: I have to apologize to Claire. That was their exact wording, not "we want to talk," not "let's sort this out," but an outright demand for an apology. Like I had done something terrible, like I was the one who had lied and manipulated people. They didn't ask me for my side of the story, did not acknowledge what they did to me, and did not even pretend to care about how I felt. They just wanted their perfect little wedding. And that's when it hit me. They don't actually care about making things right. They don't care about me. They care about how things look. They don't want this embarrassment of people asking where I am at the wedding. They don't want to explain why Claire's only sister isn't here. They just want to sweep everything under the rug, pretend nothing happened, and have a pretty family picture. I saw right through it immediately, so I ignored them. I didn't respond to their calls. I didn't reply to their messages. And as a precaution, I've also stopped staying at my place. I don't feel safe anymore. David's threats still linger in the back of my mind. My parents' sudden forced reconciliation attempt doesn't sit right with me, and I would not put it past them to show up at my door to try to pressure me into doing what they want. So for now, I've been staying with a friend. She offered me her guest room, and I gladly took her upon it. It's been nice, actually, having a genuine support. A place where I don't have to constantly look over my shoulder. I told her I wasn't sure how long I'd be there, and she told me to take all the time I needed. I honestly don't know what I would do without her, but I do know what I need to do next. I need to leave. Not just my apartment, I need to leave this entire situation. See, I've been looking at other places, preferably somewhere further away from my parents and their orbit. I'm even considering transitioning to go to remote work, which thankfully my company does offer. It would make moving easier, and most importantly, it would give me distance, and I don't want to be anywhere near them. Not for the wedding, not for the aftermath, not for whatever disaster follows when Claire eventually realizes what kind of man she's married. I have no doubt now that the wedding will happen. Claire is too deep in denial, and my parents are too invested in making it work, and David is too much of a manipulative liar to let it fall apart now. They'll probably say their vows, have their perfect day, and for a little while they'll believe that they've won. And I won't be there to see it. I don't know if I'll update again. Maybe if something major happens, but for now I'm choosing myself. They can have their stupid little perfect wedding. I'll have my mental clarity. Final update, guys. This is update 4, straight from OP, and it came out a few months later. Life has been busy, but in a good way, OP says. I finally moved. I found a new place far away from the chaos, and it's been refreshing to start over. If there was one thing I do regret, it's that I now live farther away from the friend who took me in when I needed it most. She was my rock during everything, and not being able to just drop by and hang out is bittersweet, but overall I know I made the right choice. Okay, now for the meat and potatoes, the part that everyone's probably been waiting for the wedding. It happened. Claire still went through with it, my parents still played their part in making it happen, and from what little I heard, it was everything they wanted. At least for a few hours, because then the police showed up. Right in the middle of their wedding reception, David was arrested. I only know the broad details, and I honestly didn't care enough to dig deeper, but what I heard, it had something to do with a fraud case, possibly involving his ex and the money that was not really his. Whatever it was serious enough that the authorities have been building a case against him for a while, and his wedding day just happened to be when everything caught up with him. So let's recap. David had a secret daughter, a whole past life that he hid, and apparently an entire financial crime situation going on. Oh, and my family? The same people who called me a liar, a troublemaker, and a jealous sister, they're now scrambling to clean up after the mess. My parents, who spent so much energy pushing me aside to ensure the wedding happened, are now frantically trying to figure out how to deal with Claire's public humiliation. Oh, and funny enough, they actually had a moment of clarity. I woke up one morning to a text from Mom. It was short, hesitant, asking me if this was what I've been trying to tell them all along. My dad even sent a follow-up, something vague about how they, quote, should have listened more. For a second, I actually considered replying. Maybe this was it, the moment that they finally understood, the moment that they acknowledged how horribly they treated me, but I did not get the chance to respond because just a few hours later, I get another message, this time from Claire. She was furious at me. According to her, this was my fault for not trying harder to stop the wedding. My parents must have quickly changed their tune because they backed her up, saying that I should have done more instead of just walking away, and honestly, I was laughing when I read it. I spent weeks trying to warn Claire. I begged her, pleaded with her to listen to me, and I was threatened by David for even knowing what I knew, and yet somehow in their little twisted logic, it's my fault that she went through with marrying a lying criminal. It's disgusting, it's pathetic, but more than anything, it's not my problem. I didn't respond, and I never will. I'm done with them. I let them go a long time ago, and I have no intention of ever letting them back into my life. Claire can deal with the consequences of her choices, and my parents can waste their energy trying to salvage their image, and me, I'm moving forward. So thank you to everybody who gave me advice and support. I appreciate it more than I can ever express. I'm finally at peace, and that's really all that matters. I hope you guys enjoyed today's story. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about it. And guys, don't forget, check out the Instagram. I'll pop it up on screen right here. Every single day, I'm going to be posting short stories. So if you're into 60-second reels, check it out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.